Hello everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, so we're going to start a session here shortly, but here we are standing in the walkway of the tomb for the Southern President of the United States, Jefferson Davis.
All right, one thing I wanted to mention that I didn't mention in the video itself is this is the original place where President Davis was entombed after his death on December 6, 1889. In 1893, he was reinterred at Richmond, Virginia, in the Hollywood Cemetery at his wife's request.
And get over here, it's a wee little bit on the flooded side. And so we're going to walk up here. And then after I get done showing you his resting place, I'm going to start the session, turn everything off, get everything set up, and then we'll start the session. But I believe this is the names, you can't read them, of everyone who is in here. I mean, it goes around a big circle, 3 high, I don't know how many deep, but you have to come over here like this, and there's the tomb of Jefferson Davis, June 3rd, 1808 to December 6th, 1889. Now, as I said before, like or dislike what he stood for, it is part of history. So I'm going to stand out here. I'm going to get the cameras all set up, and then we'll start our session here in just a second. All right, graveyard talkers, here we are. Still in Metairie Cemetery, and of course, we're at the grave site of Jefferson Davis, the President of the Southern Confederate States. We're here to do a little session to talk, see if we can talk to him and or any of the other souls that are rested. There's a big old wall here of hundreds and hundreds of names here. I'm going to assume they are interred here to be with their president. These are probably all soldiers that served with him. There's like a W.H. Eli. It looks like they have their name, where they're from, and the date they died. See if I can find anything. There's a A. Brady. Well, it has their regiment on it, and then the day he died, February 22nd, 1889. They're all pretty hard to read. But anyways, we're going to try a little session here. We come here with respect, to pay our respects to you, and to talk to the souls that are entombed here in here with Jefferson Davis. And I don't know what you call it. A tomb, I guess. Those are entombed in this tomb. And if you all have something to say, President Davis, if you would like to say something, by the way, no relations to me, as far as I can tell, I would certainly like to hear it. Now, I'm going to step out just a little bit. Feel free to say anything you'd like to say, but I want to get out to where it's not echoing. So if possible, I would like to talk to Jefferson Davis. Mr. Davis, if you're here and you would like to speak with us, is there something that you would like to say? Okay, I heard I will think about it. I heard I am, and then I heard I will think about it. So we mean no disrespect. We just want to hear from you or any of the other soldiers that are in here who would like to say something? Can you tell me why it was so important that you continued the fight for as long as you did during the Civil War against the North? I heard something about it was a stupid something. I'm not sure what it was meant. We'll listen and see if we can find out. Do you regret now having risen up against the federal government? I heard easy. Maybe it meant it was easy. I don't know. But so you're in here with quite a few of your comrades. Does that make you comfortable? Does it make you happy that they chose to be laid to rest with you? Can you tell me some of the hardest decisions that you had to make while you were president of the Confederacy?
What?
So I heard one was that you had one, then I heard two. Was that meant you had two hard decisions to make? What was it like? You were in Richmond, Virginia, I believe. What was it like being in Richmond, Virginia, knowing that the federal troops were getting closer and closer? Hope, hope. Were you a reluctant president? Did you just fall into it? Were you reluctant, or did you really want the presidency? So what are your feelings about how many soldiers, Confederate soldiers. Let's just talk about Confederate soldiers. What are your what are your regrets that so many Confederate soldiers lost their life?
Did?
And if you had to do it all over again, would you? So I thought I heard certainly, and I would. So in this day and age, you should be aware of time. This is 2024. In this day and age, most people, I think that the war was over slavery. I think it was much more than just being over slavery. I think it was also about state rights. Can you tell us what you thought, why you fought the war, for what reasons? So you lived around 24, 25 years after the war ended. How did you feel when the war ended, when you found out that Abraham Lincoln was shot and killed towards the end of the war? Sounds like I heard wrong in there. So I believe you were under house arrest in Richmond after the war, and of course you couldn't go see. You could not pay your respects to Abraham Lincoln when he was assassinated, could you? You were with him in spirit? Is that what you meant? You were with him in spirit? So history says that John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln. Were you aware of John Wilkes Booth? Did you have any knowledge of him? Some. And was that because he was an actor, or did you have any communications with him? What would the Confederate Army had done had John Wilkes Booth made it to the South and turned himself into a Confederate, or I should say made it deeper into the South and turned himself into a Confederate Union, Confederate outfit? What would have happened to him?
And very much.
I just been wanting.
Would you guys have punished him?
That stress.
And so, as I said earlier, you about 24, 25 years that you were alive during the after the Civil War. What was your life like after the Civil War?
Especially
Switch her up.
candy. Maybe.
So if you had anything that you would say to your soldiers, whether they lived during the war or they passed away during the war, what would you say to them today?
No.
And I'm sure a lot of the soldiers afterwards revered you, and they were around to honor you, and for as much as they could took care of you.
Yes. So much. You know, down the difficult. No.
All right. Well, we do appreciate you talking to us. Is there anyone else in here who would like to talk to us besides the president? So if you could give me your name, I would appreciate you giving me your name. I heard Smith, I heard Stephen, and you guys wanted to be buried with President Jefferson Davis? Tomb. Correct. So you wanted to be placed in the tomb area with Jefferson Davis? Yes. I heard someone come through as said lieutenant. So there's apparently a lieutenant here. Who is the lieutenant? All right, now I will look to see if I can find out who that is. All right, so we're getting close to the end here. What I'd like to do at this point, ask if anyone has anything else that they would like to say. And then when we get done with that, then I'm going to let the speaker run for about a minute or so, where you can say anything you would like to say. All right, final stop. Okay, so I'm going to let the speaker go for about a minute. And please feel to say whatever you want to say. I won't interrupt you. and then I will see you in a minute, or I will talk to you in a minute.
Different. And you know,
Don't. That. It was.
you find them.
All right, everyone, to all the spirits that are here, I thank you very much for letting me bother your rest. And I want to thank you, President Jefferson Davis. I'd like to thank you for allowing me and talking to bother you and to talk with me during this day. May you rest in eternal peace, and everyone else in this tomb.
Don't.
All righty, so I'm going to move this a little bit this way, and hopefully you'll be able to see me when I move it. Hopefully my head is not cut off, so shouldn't be. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on another episode of Graveyard Talkers. And as I always say, if you come here to listen to me, you came here for the wrong reason. You want to listen to the spirits, Jefferson Davis and all the spirits of the soldiers that decided to be buried here with him or entombed here with him. I thank you for joining us today. If you like what you see, you like the content that I'm putting up, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. I can't do it without you. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.